Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ivy and I do makeup sometimes. As you can see from the title, today we have a 2017 favorites video, but I'm gonna start it off with a 2018 favorite, which is that intro y'all just saw. My friend Victoria is so talented. If you have a logo, an intro, just a graphic design need in general, definitely hit her up. She's so amazing. I'll have her links and stuff like that down below. That way you guys can check out her work and hopefully hit her up for some stuff. That aside, today I am showing you a tutorial where I show you my 2017 favorites. I feel like this is kind of necessary because I took such a long YouTube hiatus last year, so I feel like if you only follow me on YouTube or something, you might not be that familiar with what I was loving, so I tried to be thorough. Each product I have on my face right now is a favorite, but I also do mention some other products that I was loving as well because I can only put on so much makeup at one time. Of course, as usual, I use a variety of brushes throughout the tutorial, but I do specifically mention the ones that I do consider yearly favorites, so keep an eye out for those. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so for my favorite primers of the year, the first one I'm going to mention is the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer. I wore this primer a lot for most of the year, and surprisingly I didn't go through much of it at all. Like, I still have plenty left in the tube. A little goes a long way, especially for how I prime. I feel like I wore this more and I liked it more whenever I was wearing the Maybelline foundation. A lot of the times when you use a foundation from a certain range, you know, the primer just works better with it. So I really enjoyed this when I was wearing the Maybelline foundation, but recently I switched over to wearing the Tarte Poreless Primer, and this is actually the primer I'm going to be wearing today. I have been using the Maybelline primer for a longer time, but ever since I picked up this Tarte one, I haven't been able to put it down, so I really feel like I had to add it in this favorites video. I just feel like it makes my skin look really flawless. It covers the pores really well. It helps control oil. Albeit, I do always pair it with a powder, which I'm going to mention here in a second, but either way, this primer I just feel like really took my priming to the next level and makes my makeup look really nice. Now I'm just going to go ahead and set my primer using the Maybelline Fit Me Powder in Medium Deep, and I'm using the Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush for this step. This brush is definitely a favorite as well. I just feel like whenever I set my primer, it fits really well in like the crevices of the nose and like really, you know, packs everything in because it's so dense. It's just like a great shape and a great density. Now for foundation, I definitely do have to mention the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, which got me through the summer months so well. This foundation has a really nice satiny matte finish, which is really great for people with combination skin. My skin gets oilier basically in the area you just saw me prime, and during the summer it gets really oily over there, but the rest of my skin is like normal and can be a little bit dry in some areas. So this foundation is really great because when I am more oily, it doesn't mattify too much to where my like normal and dry areas just look crepey or it highlights texture, but it does mattify enough that it's not really accentuating the oil issue in the center of my face. I do also want to quickly commend Maybelline for expanding their foundation ranges. One of the main reasons I gravitated towards this foundation in the summer was because this was one of the only brands that actually had a shade for me in the summer, you feel me? So I ended up picking up the shade 370, which is a really great match for me right then. I didn't have to mix it with anything. It was phenomenal. And yeah, just, you know, good job Maybelline. I see they're also like expanding their concealers and some other stuff, so good job, good job. So Maybelline Fit Me was a really great foundation whenever my skin was more on the oily side, not so much on the dry. But now towards the cooler months, we are fully cemented into the like dry end of the spectrum. So I've been rocking with a different foundation. The foundation I've been really loving in the cooler months is the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I think it has an absolutely beautiful finish. It just looks so natural and it's just, I don't know, it's a great foundation. I can sheer it out and wear it on my like more natural days, or I can apply it like a little heavier for like my more glam days, and I don't know, I love it. Also the shade match for me personally is amazing, but speaking of shades, like I know with how the shade range is right now, I would not be able to use this in the summer. This is the darkest shade and this isn't the darkest I get, you get me? And I would really like to be able to use it during the summer because I'd want to see like, you know, if it would work with like my oilier skin, if this could be like my year-round foundation, but it just really sucks that I can't, you know? That's the crappy thing about shade ranges. That being said, I'd be lying if I made a yearly favorites and said this wasn't one of them because this is all I've been wearing for months now. But yeah, that shade range is a huge con. I almost forgot to mention, this right here, this brush right here, the Makeup Shack T40 brush is another favorite of mine from this year. I love this foundation brush so much. It just, it has the perfect density. Like, it's dense enough that it's gonna give you enough coverage, and it's also nice and big, so you can apply your foundation fairly quickly if you want to. And I just think it gives you, y'all making a lot of noise. I hope y'all couldn't hear that like car squealing outside of my door, but yeah, the foundation brush, this is just an amazing brush, and I think it applies foundation flawlessly and quickly, and that's all I can ask. My next favorite is my Black Opal foundation stick in Ebony Brown. That little clip you're seeing is not the whole thing, like that's not the entire size of the stick. I've just used that much of it. I love this foundation stick so much because it's a beautiful like bronzing slash contouring color. Like, it has enough warmth to kind of like, you know, bronze a little bit, but it does also have enough depth to add some sculpting to your face. I've said this before, but just in case you're new here. The formula is also really nice to blend. I feel like partially because it is a foundation, you know, it's just like a lot easier to blend into other foundations. So yeah, the formula is great, the shade is great. It does have a wide shade range, so you should definitely go see if you can find a good contour shade for you in there. I've never tried it as a foundation because I only picked up a contour shade, but I kind of want to after using this as a contour. Next favorite is the ABH foundation stick in Cool Earth. This is a really nice cool toned contour shade. If you do want to just exclusively sculpt, you don't really want to bronze your face, I would go for this as your contour. I'm not the biggest fan of the foundation formula for like all over my face, but I do like it as a cream contour product. Also, the shade of this is really nice. The reason I don't use ebony brown under like my chin and those areas I just want to exclusively sculpt, not bronze, is because it's too warm and it just looks a little too obvious. So I switched to using this for pretty much just my chin because that's the only area that I kind of really care to really, you know, contour. So I really do like this for that, and it works well. I do also occasionally use it to cream contour my nose. Not sure if I'm gonna do that today, but that's another area where you'd want exclusively sculpting, not really bronzing. So, you know, just any area you're really just trying to snatch it. That's where I use that. Now, if I had to pick one concealer to be my concealer of 2017, that would be the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. I picked this up whenever I heard Thomas Halbert say this is a less drying version of Shape Tape. And that's just because, I mean, although everyone loves Shape Tape, I feel like that's a little too matte for my skin. I usually have to mix that with an oil or something. So I figured I would try this out, and ever since I tried it, I've absolutely loved it. This is the shade Deep Cocoa, by the way. I'm about to put on a little bit of medium deep tan. But you may see me mix it with like other concealers from time to time, and that's just because I like to switch it up, and sometimes I want to share it down and this other stuff, but regardless, you usually see me putting a little bit of this somewhere at some point. I love this concealer so much. Alright, so I just did my brows off camera because they take forever. That being said, some of my end of the year favorites for brows are the Anastasia Brow Pomade, if I can find where I put mine. Here it is. The Anastasia Brow Pomade in Ebony. I like this product not necessarily for putting all the way through my brows. I stopped doing that a long time ago. What I do is I'll go with a product that has a little less like pigment, something just a little lighter, like not as full coverage as this product is. For example, a brow powder, and the one I've been loving this year is the Eylure and Fleur de Force collab. But I'll go in with this or some other product, and then I'll go in with the ABH pomade and use that to kind of do hair-like strokes to my brows. So yeah, that's a combo I've really been loving for my brows all year. That being said, like, you know, I say this all the time, but a brow tutorial is coming. Now onto eyeshadow. Some eyeshadow formulas I've absolutely been loving are Juvia's Place, Anastasia Beverly Hills, and, and Star Crush Minerals. Anastasia Beverly Hills has had kind of a rocky year when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, but I think we can all agree that Modern Renaissance was a banger. You can see that mine has been very well loved, especially the shade Love Letter. I love that shade so much. I mean, even if you look at the front of the palette, it's like hella dirty. But yeah, I think Modern Renaissance has an amazing formula. It's really well pigmented, it blends smoothly. This was actually like my first warm tone palette, and you know, just kind of kicked me into gear with the warm tones, and I just kind of ran with that all 2017. But either way, I enjoyed this palette so much. If I'm traveling, I definitely take this with me. It's just, I know I can get a good look out of this regardless, you know? The next shadow formula I mentioned was Juvia's Place, and I absolutely love these shadows. Y'all recently saw me do a look using Saharan 2, which has actually been my favorite palette right now. I generally stick to using these 3 shades at the bottom and these 3 shades at the top. I haven't really touched into this burgundy or these blues yet, but I'm really excited to because I love Juvia's like shimmer formula. I think it's the best shimmer formula I own currently. if you would like to see this palette in action, I definitely recommend you guys check out. I think it's called my go-to makeup routine. Whatever it's called, I'll put it in the eye right here. But yeah, I used that in this video, or I used this in that video, and it was great. Some other Juvia's palettes I really love are the Masquerade palette and Saharan. This is the original Saharan palette, and this palette is just, look at that, those fiery oranges. I love this thing so much. I feel like every time I open this palette, I really want to swatch this shade right here, Wadabi, I think that's what it's called. So we'll do a quickie swatch just to show off that Juvia shimmer formula. Look at that. Y'all saw how light that swatch is? And then, they aren't playing games, okay? Juvia's is not playing games. I feel like I've forgotten to mention the products that I do have codes for, like this whole video. But if you want to purchase from Juvia's, you can use code IVY to save. The next brand I'm going to mention is Star Crush Minerals, and I have a bag of their single shadows right here, and these are actually the shadows I'm going to be using in today's tutorial. To be clear, I'm not entirely sure what look I'm doing today. We're just going to roll with it. Alright, so the first shade I'm going to go in with here is Sky Skimmer. So with Star Crush Mineral shadows, what I really like about them is if you're somebody with like a larger makeup collection, single shadows kind of make it easier to like expand, because you may have palettes that don't have, like, let's say like a certain purple you're looking for, and Star Crush Minerals has so many shades that it makes it really easy to like supplement. Next I'm taking the shade Amethyst Sunrise, which is just kind of like a light pinky shade to help that blend. It also doesn't hurt that the shadows start at I think $4, and then with a coupon code, mine is Ivy, it drops it down to like $2 because like the coupon codes are 50% off. So, you know, they're not super unaffordable or anything, so it just makes them really nice to like chuck in your collection. And I also do like the quality of the shadows a lot. I feel like they're pretty pigmented and they just apply really well. I would just say if you're purchasing from them, I would stick with the matte shadows over the shimmers, because the shimmers can be kind of hit or miss, but the matte shadows are great. Now I'm taking Electric Blue just to kind of deepen it up. This brush right here is another favorite. It's the Makeup Shack T67. I haven't had it for long, but I can say it's a favorite because it's literally a dupe of the Morphe M433, which is one of my absolute favorite brushes. So this and the Morphe M433 are amazing brushes and definite favorites of mine. The shape is just so nice and tiny, really good for building colors deep in the crease. I'm going back with some more Amethyst Sunrise just on the rest of the crease to transition for what we're about to do. Now I'm taking the shade Magenta, and I'm gonna apply that in the crease as well. Now I'm taking the shade Audacious Plum, which is this purple right here, and I'm just gonna apply that to the outer corner. Purples are so hard to formulate, so I really applaud Star Crush Minerals on coming out with purples that I actually enjoy. Like, these purples are so good. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Desdemona, if I'm saying that right, and use it to deepen up the blue on the inner portion. Now I'm going to be cutting this crease with this Nameless Makeup Shack brush. I love it so much for cutting my crease and cleaning up my brows too, but I mean, it has no number on it, so it's hard for me to call it, so I'm just going to go ahead and link it down below if you want to see it. But this brush is definitely a favorite of mine, just because it's nice and flat, so it makes cutting the crease easy, and it's nice and big, so it covers like my lids quickly. Now I'm going to take the shade Anarchy and pack that right here to transition from the purple to the lid. Now I'm going to take one of their pressed shadows in Orange Oasis and use that to blend further onto the lid. Then I'm taking their highlighter in the shade Neutral Statement and packing that the rest of the way onto the inner portion of the lid. Alright, now our eyeshadow is mostly done, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the same concealers I mentioned before. I'm also contouring my nose just a little bit using the Anastasia foundation that I mentioned earlier. And I'm just using a MAC 190 brush, just a regular flat foundation brush to blend it out. Ever since it came out, I've really been loving the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Highlighter in Bronzed. This product does apply best with a beauty sponge. The next product I'm going to use is my Beauty Bakery Flower Setting Powder. I use it in the shades Yellow, is it called Yellow, and Brown. I love these powders because they're so finely milled. I feel like they almost like Facetune your face. They control an oil enough without like being overly drying. And they just melt into the skin so nicely. Like they don't really sit atop the skin, they just look really good. And to set the rest of my face, I'm just using the brown flour. Again, same purchase as the other one, finely milled. Sits beautifully on the skin, it's amazing. My bronzer of the year is the CoverGirl Queen Collection bronzer in Ebony. This product is like such an old like YouTube staple, but I'm like literally the last person in the world to get into it. I do really like it though. The contour powder that never fails me is this one right here, Makeup Geek Scandal. And I'm just taking that on this Sephora Pro Highlighter brush and carving up my cheekbones. Hitting the bottom of my nose, the top, and then a little on the sides. For blush, if you've been following me for a while, y'all know I really like me some blush. So this was hard for me to narrow down. The first kind of set of blushes I've really been loving this year are the Juvia's Saharan 1 blush palette, and this just is full of such pretty shades. The two I really gravitate towards is this one right here in Neo, and then this one right here in Toby. If you want to see both of these shades in action, you can watch my like Christmassy tutorial, which I'll link somewhere. And then the other blushes I really loved in 2017 are these from the 9N blush palette. I generally stick to these three shades right here, which my camera is kind of washing out right now, sorry. But I really love this shade the most. This is like a really pretty like brown shade in the pan, but it actually shows up a little bit peachy on the cheeks and it has a really pretty sheen to it. This one is kind of like a terracotta-y kind of shade, and then this one over here is a really pretty like peachy shade, and it also has a sheen to it. This one over here is matte though. If you have a lighter skin tone, you have like this kind of quadrant right here. If you have a bit of a deeper skin tone, you have like these right here, and maybe this one. I don't know why I haven't tried this one yet. It looks really pretty. And then like, you know, you just kind of like, it has a range of shades. You can mix and match, whatever. So I feel like this is just a really good blush palette for everyone starting out. Alright, so for highlighters, I tried to narrow them down, and it was hard because I switch up my highlighters a lot, but I just kind of figured like I'd go by which are the two highlighters that like I'm doing my everyday makeup, which ones do I automatically go to. The first one is this shade from Makeup Geek called Firework, and that is this shade right here on my middle finger. I've also swatched it on my arm. It's a really pretty kind of like neutral bronzy shade. I like it because it doesn't really have a strong like silvery or like gold undertone. It's just kind of like really neutral. It looks just like a really pretty sheen on your face, so it's a very easy highlight to just pick up, throw on, and you know it'll look good with pretty much anything. The other one is this shade right here by Honey Kiss Cosmetics in 100K. I do have a code with Honey Kiss Cosmetics. It's code IVY. I really do love this highlighter. Here it is right here on my finger. I really do love this highlighter. I just think it sits really beautifully on top of the skin. Also, I feel like if I'm not going for like this neutrally toned highlighter, I like a soft gold, and this is a soft gold. It's not too yellow to where I feel like it needs a specific kind of look to be worn. It's just a really pretty like everyday tone for me. I swatched it right there, like the second swatch right here. I will say with Honey Kiss Cosmetics, the only downside to purchasing from them is that it takes a little while for your order to get to you, just because it is a small business. Like, she does the orders on her own and all of that, so it does take her a little while to get them out. Like, I think it can take up to a month, so just if you decide to purchase, go into it knowing that, but I'm telling you, with this highlighter, so worth it. For this look, I'm actually gonna go in with Firework from Makeup Geek. Another favorite is the Luxie 182 brush, just for highlighting the bridge of my nose. This is like the only brush that gets it without getting the highlighter everywhere, and I love it so much. A lot of people like this for like actually like contouring their nose, and I know that's its purpose, but I feel like that looks so bad on me. Like, it gives me a really stripy contour, but I love it for highlighting my nose. Now, I'm not really biased towards setting sprays too much, but today I'm gonna be using the CoverGirl Look Lock Up setting spray, just because it has a really good mister on it. Like, it doesn't really splash you. Like, it just mist. It's great. Now for the lower lash line, I'm just gonna start taking the blues we used onto the outer portion. Then I'm taking these two shadows right here. One is in Stheno and the other one is in Mint to Be. and I'm just gonna apply them to the rest of the lower lash line. So just taking Mint to B, packing that a little closer, then taking a little Steno, tapping off the excess, and applying it between those two. Now, if you guys are new here, hello, my name is Ivy and I like dots. So, I'm just taking a little bit of this NYX Vivid Brights liner in Vivid Halo on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to use a eyeliner as like a kind of stencil to like dot it onto my face. I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the NYX white liner too and do the same, but this time going in with fewer dots. And now that my inner corner is like hella bright, we're done with that part. All right, I'm gonna do my lashes and stuff off camera and then I'll be right back. All right, so I have my lashes on and my lips are lined, but for my lash favorites this year, I think I have like 3 favorites that I've been really loving. The first ones are the ones I have on right now. These are the Showstopper lashes by the Makeup Shack. I wore these so much this year, like I don't even want to talk about it. My other favorite lashes have been the extra lashes from Time Los Angeles. I don't have them with me right now, but here's a picture right here because I'm a snazzy YouTuber and I know how to do that. But yeah, I've worn the extra lashes like so many times recently, it's really become a problem. I'm actually trying to like switch it up and wear something else. And then the third lash style I've really been loving this year have been these right here, and these are in the style Dubai by the Makeup Shack, and I just love them a lot. They're really pretty, kind of like fluttery, they're long. I really like a good long lash. That's something you're gonna see throughout like all of the lashes I've mentioned, just because I have like a little bit of lid space going on here, so I like to make sure I have enough lash to like stand out. But yeah, those are my lash faves. I feel like in 2017, the lip colors I love the most were nudes. Like me, like the whole beauty community, you know, we all love nudes. My favorite like brand for nudes I feel like in 2017 was probably MAC. I wore Whirl a lot, which is the one I'm gonna wear today. I wore a lot of Honey Love, and unfortunately this one was limited edition, but I wore a lot of the Gabriel Zamora shade as well. But like I said, today I'm gonna be wearing Whirl, so I'm just gonna pop that right here on my lips. And then for glosses, Gold Gloss has been the name of the game. The two I've really been loving is this one on top, which is Expensive by Honey Kiss Cosmetics, and this one on the bottom, which is MAC Viva Glam Taraj GP Henson 2. Today I'm just gonna go ahead and go over with Expensive. I feel like this gloss, the Taraj GP Henson, is really great for kind of toning down really light nudes, so I'll often wear this with like Honey Love or just, you know, those lighter beigey nude shades, and I feel like it kind of like, because it has like some bronze flecks in there, it kind of tones them down. And then I really like Expensive just because, I mean, it's really cool. It's got like lots of hollow in it, so when you're in the sun, it's amazing. And also the gloss formula is so nice on the Honey Kiss glosses. They're super hydrating, they last ages, they're great, and they're not sticky at all, like no stickiness to be found. It's amazing how it's like moisturizing and long lasting. She did that. But yeah, with that, that's the finished look. So let's get into this outro. All right, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my little 2017 favorites. I feel like I did like a whole lot of makeup favorites, but I didn't tell you anything else that I liked this year. So here's a couple more. 1, Hot Funyuns. 2, Hot Cheetos. And 3, Hamilton the Musical. If you follow me on Snapchat, y'all know I love Hamilton the Musical. That is my jam. That is my jam. That is my jam. So people, how I feel a second. Now I'm the model, major general, the venerated Virginian, better ratings than all of the city, the rocks of my guys. Do you have a problem with my Hamilton, Ashley? Yes. She big mad. But anyways, those are my favorites. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. While you're down there, you know, might as well hit that little notification bell so that you can get notified every time I post a video. In retrospect, that's probably not even where it is, but I'm just gonna hope. If you would like to check out the other things I post, feel free to check out my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Instagram and Twitter are both at IvyKungu, and my Snapchat is MissPoisonIvy01. But of course, as always, those are linked right down below. But yeah, that's it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Bye. I look so pretty and witty and gay. You mad?